Alright guys, and welcome to Technicolor. Now this is the explanation video, so if you're watching this, you've purchased the trick, so thank you very much, and it means a lot that you've purchased this because this is something that I've come up with recently and I'm really proud of it. So I want to take you through now the history, how I come up with the method and the workings and why certain things are certain ways, and then we'll get into the method and the gimmicks and everything else. But this is a wonderful trick. So before we start anything else, let's have a look at the trick in action.
Okay, so first I need you to imagine. Let's do this. Imagine you're holding a balloon. And imagine the colour is, yeah? Give me a favour, so the camera can't see and I can't see. I want you to write down which colour, and then take the tape off. You can go over there and get it, don't mind. I will look away. Don't you see it because they're like, we'll just film you for like 2 minutes. Tell us a joke or something.
A joke?
No, a joke. Alright, so yeah, what's important is I'm not going to see that though, right? What's your name? Becky. Becky, what are you doing? Maggie. I'll call you thingy, just tear the page off.
I don't want to be doing this.
You done?
Yeah.
Turn the page off. Have you folded it up so I can look around?
This is savage.
It's in my bag.
Did the camera see it? Did you see what they wrote?
Sorry?
You didn't see what she wrote?
I put it to the camera.
That's quite important. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, so you did see it? He just wasn't looking. The
I
camera saw it.
didn't see. Was there a minute?
Oh, the camera saw it, but
I
you
did
didn't.
put it.
Yeah, that's fine. All right.
I don't know.
Okay, let's make you a birthday card. Say stop.
Stop.
This will be your card, all right? Whatever this is. I want you to write your name up. Can someone hold the drink? If you know we're busy. Just cross the top. It's fine. At least we can show the camera. Mackie, you should have said.
I said Mackie.
And by your birthday down there, because it's not today, is it? Alright, so we've got Mackie's birthday card. Can you hold your hand up for me? No, your hand.
Mine.
Your hand.
Assistant.
You are part of this trick, indeed. So I'm going to give you like half the deck. Alright? I want you to lift up about half of those cards, give or take. And we'll put your card in there and they go back on top. And then keep those in your hand so I can't cheat. Alright? Say stop for me, someone.
Stop.
Over here. He's involved, he's smiling. I'm on camera saying stop. What have I got? Okay, I've got a bit of a girly card. I've got a Queen of Hearts. I'm going to write your message on this, alright? So let's put, I'll just put my RB magic on, alright? Thanks, teamwork. Remember your card? It was the King of... You don't remember. Mine's a Queen of Hearts, yours is the King of Clubs. There's a clue on the front of you, the front way, it's got your name on it. If I put this in here, and yours in there, they're different places, right? And I put them together like this, and I do this. Watch what my card does. RB magic. There, it goes right through the deck, hold those a second. It goes through all the other cards, actually finds your card, which is quite nice. But that's dry, just quite that ink. Is that dry? On the back of that Queen, is that dry? Yeah. Watch the name, if I do this, as it jumps off the Queen completely. My RB magic lands on the back of your card, which is quite nice, right? But you were thinking of a balloon, not a card, is that right? We're going to make you a balloon. Hold this for me. Which end do you want me to punch? The E or the M end? You choose. E end, this end here, yeah? If I made you this as a birthday balloon, would you be wholeheartedly disappointed?
No.
You've got to admit, this looks like the world's worst balloon, does it not? That's great, yeah? So I'll make it more interesting. But use your imagination. Hold these. I'll take that. How's your imagination? It needs to be better than... Try this. Was it King of Clubs? Your name? Yeah. Thread that through yourself. You just thread it through the hole. What colour were you thinking? Green. Okay, here's the thing. If I did this, hold the bottom ends of the two. No, the two ends, hold the bottom. You got them both? Yeah, hold them with one hand. Hang on, let's put that. Pull that through so it's even. My OCD won't handle it otherwise. Okay, so if I imagine this is a balloon, hold it like this. It's not great, is it? It's the wrong colour, your card. Green. Imagine the card just turning green. Can't happen, right? Squeeze it. Watch it, see what happens to your card. Look, one card comes out. Hold it there, hold it there. Green card, and your card didn't name it, right? Look. Have a look, is that still your card? Still your colour?
Yeah.
Nice work. You can keep that as a little souvenir. Now, good. All right. What's your name? How are you?
Fine.
I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Couldn't get this.
Yes,
Right,
that's
here's the game. I want you to imagine that you're holding a balloon on your birthday.
Yeah.
Got a balloon on a bit
A ribbon.
ribbon. Yeah. I imagine what colour it is.
Yeah.
All right. So what you do, I want you to write this down on here, but don't let anyone see it, especially the camera. Just write the colour down. The window does reflect, so I'm going to turn away. When you've written it down, just tear the page off, sit on it. What you're going to do to hide it,
Okay.
and then. I'll do some stuff. Hi, I'm just I don't know, I'm making stuff up now. You done it? Have you torn it off? Oh, you have? Oh, you've got some skills. Fold it up, don't let me see it. Did anybody see what you wrote? Really sneaky, all right. Okay, we're going to... It's not your birthday today, is it? So we're going to imagine it's your birthday. When is your birthday, by the way? Miles away now, right? Literally couldn't be any further away. You've got the magician's eye view in it. Let me do the pen again. So just say stop whenever you like. Ready? That's fine. This will be your birthday.
Okay.
9 o'clock. Okay, watch out. I'm going to dive in. Can you write your name across there, nice and big? Yeah, just on the front. It's right, hold it here so the camera
You
can
want
see
to hold it?
Just so
You
the camera can see it, ready?
Oh, okay. All right.
Lovely job. Shot bugger, here's the... Oh, the lady's got the string, hasn't she? Oh, well, we'll do it a different way. I'll leave this just here. That on its own is not much of a birthday card, so I'm going to write you a little message. Oh, thank you. Can you lift up about half of those cards for me, give or take? And I'll put your birthday card in here, put them back on, but when you do, make sure that edge isn't sticking out. Put this one and make it neat. That's it. Hold on to me if you like. I'm going to get myself a little birthday card. Say stop.
Stop.
It's proper like holding onto those cards with white knuckles. What was it? March? May? March. March. All right, I've got a king. All right, not much room to write on there, so I'll write on the back. If I just put on here my little thing, RB Magic. That's what I write on walls when I graffiti and stuff. Yeah. They're all properly like. It's a little British. Do you know what my card was?
It was the king.
King, yeah. And yours with the 9 of clubs. All right, you haven't let go of that. So if I do this, if I take your 9 of clubs, I'll take the whole pack. I put my king in here, your 9 here, and do this. What happens is, look, my king will find your 9. Look. See the RB Magic on the back of the card? Yeah.
Yep.
Right next to that card, it goes through all the others, and it finds yours, that's yours, right? And the ink's dry. The ink's dry on here. What I can do with the RB is I can flick it like this, and it comes off the king completely. It lands on the back of your card, giving you a full kind of birthday. It's all right, but we said of a balloon, aren't you? You're thinking of a balloon. So let's try and make this a bit more imagination-based. Yeah, okay. What colour balloon were you thinking of?
You want me to tell you?
You don't want to tell me, do you?
I don't really. I've written it down there.
Oh, what was it got?
Oh, you want me to tell you? Oh, yellow.
Yellow, alright, so if we find your, what was it, the 9 of clubs, yes?
Yeah.
Not much of a balloon like this, right?
No.
Because all the cards are blue. So just imagine yellow. Bear in mind, we didn't know what that colour was until just now, after you signed it. Put your hand over and think yellow, just for a second. That's it, look. Look what happens, look. In the deck, one card, watch. Look, you turn yellow, right?
Oh my god.
But wait, you wrote your name on it. Yeah, turn it over. RB Magic, and it's your name on the other side, right?
Oh my god. No.
There's a little birthday balloon for you.
How did that happen? Oh wow, yeah,
Sneaky, yeah.
that is very clever.
So that's Technicolor in all its glory. There are several different ways to perform this trick, with the peak, without the peak, and so on. So I'm going to get through all of that stuff in a second, but first I'm going to give you the history of the effect and how I came up with the idea. So the idea is based upon a trick called the dark card, which is a wonderful trick, and in its basic form is you get a card selected, it's signed, put back in the deck, you click your fingers, spread the deck, and the card changes colour. So it goes from red to blue or blue to red, whichever one you're using. So that's the essential trick that is the dark card. Wonderful trick. I know it's a big favourite of a lot of magicians. It was shown to me by Peter Nardi years and years and years ago, and it's just superb. And I have a project on the go at the moment, which is called Old Props, New Handling. So what I've been trying to do is take stuff that I'm doing already and give it a little spin and make a video of it and put it up on Instagram or on YouTube. But what happened when I started doing that with the dark card is it went off on such a tangent and became so different that I felt it was justifiable to release it as its own effect. So I'm really pleased. The main difference is obviously between dark card and this, because the actual gimmick, the way the gimmick's put together is exactly the same. But in terms of routine and method, everything else is different. So what I wanted to add to that, and what I did add to it, was the idea of the colour being a thought of colour. So instead of just it changing colour, they actually think of any colour they like, and then the card changes to that colour. And from that, we've built up to what it is now. So I will talk you through the process of how I came up with the routine as it stands now. Okay, so the process is this. It started out as I wanted to make it a thought of colour that changed, so dark card with a thought of colour. So at first I was like, how many colours are there that people could use? There are obviously the rainbows. We've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, brown, grey, silver, gold, white. Then suddenly there was like 12, 15 colours, and it wasn't feasible to have this many colours on you to make it a workable effect. So what I decided to do was go with 6 colours plus the colour of the deck. So it's now red, because I use blue cards, so if you use red cards, just interchange red and blue. I use blue. So it goes red, orange, yellow, green, purple, pink. Those are the colours that I have on me all the time, and I've never had any choice that's not matched one of those colours because of a certain thing I did. So at first I was trying to just kind of nudge people towards choose a colour, make it a bright colour, don't make it obvious like black or white. And it felt a little bit too much like I was limiting their options, and it made a difference what they chose. And as soon as you give someone that idea that it makes a difference what they choose, they tend to try to catch you out. That's what I find. If you say to people, oh, don't make it this, don't make it that, but do make it a bright colour, they're going to want to, they smell a rat and they want to make it as difficult as possible. So what I'm going to do is a completely free choice. So it happened by accident. I was decorating at somebody's house, and they said, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday, can you show us a trick? So of course I can. So I said to her, I wanted to imagine you're holding a balloon, and as soon as I said it, like a eureka moment went off. I said, you're holding a balloon, I wanted to imagine what colour that balloon is. Now, nobody really, unless you're really into like goth or party planning, like really, really deeply, if you're just going to parties, balloons are bright. You're going to have a bright colour for the balloon. So we had now a way of making them think of a colour, but ensuring that it's a bright colour. So I just said to her, imagine you're holding a balloon. Now I try and do this for somebody's birthday. So imagine you're holding a balloon, that ensured the colour was bright. Now bingo, we've got that bit settled. And then we wanted to punch some holes in the card and sign it on the front and the back to sort of make it really look like the same card when it came out a different colour, the same hole, same signature and all that sort of stuff. So now we move on to the sort of the way we built from just changing the colour of the card to making it really convincing. Okay, so when I first workshopped this with a friend of mine, Michael Drinkwater, we obviously had the card signed on the front. That was fine. And it was still the spread at this point. So we were still spreading the cards out to show the colour. So when we signed the back, we were sort of having to make sure we signed the top and make sure it was always the right orientation, so that when you spread the cards, it hid the signature on the blue one but showed it on the other card. It became very complicated. And we wanted to punch holes in it to make it look, like really, really. So I punched those holes myself. I know those are the same holes. But again, it posed too many problems trying to over-convince it. So what I needed to do, I sat down and said I need to justify the signature on the back being in my handwriting, and I need to justify the fact that there was a hole punched in the card. So I really like the idea of the hole punch in the card. So what I came up with was I used an effect called Hue Fusion. This is on Carl Andrews' No Jacket Required. It's a wonderful effect, and I'm going to show you the ins and outs of it now. But if you want to see the full works on that and the rest of the DVD video, it was just wonderful. So that's Carl Andrews' No Jacket Required. So I highly recommend it. It's a really, really cool DVD and a wonderful set of tricks. And all of them, as you can imagine, require no jacket. He was working in Hawaii. He didn't want to wear a jacket. So it's all short sleeves, in the hand stuff. Beautiful. So that now, and again, we'll get to the actual method behind that in a second, but that now allowed them to sign one card, me to sign the back of a different card, and make out I was putting together a birthday card for them. So it again took their mind off the idea that this was actually their balloon. So I said, we'll make you a birthday card, you sign your card, put it back in, we'll get a different card, we'll sign the back, and you write on whatever you like. Because you know what you've already written underneath, so you just copy it. It was happy birthday, congratulations, whatever you want, you write on the back. And then you do the trick, you show the cards, find each other, it jumps from one to the other, and now you have this lovely magic moment where their signature and your message end up on the back of one card, so all on the same card. So it's a lovely moment of magic in the routine that justifies now you signing the back, them signing the front. So again, that overcame that barrier of why am I signing the back if you sure they would sign both sides. So now we've got this card prepped and set up. All we need to do is justify the hole punch. And I went from doing loads of holes to actually just doing one hole right down the middle. Because at first I was doing the hole in the corner so that I could use Alakazam's expansion gimmick, because it just fitted in well with having a hole. But the card would come out at this funny angle when it came out of the deck. So now we punched a hole straight down the middle. But I give them the choice. Say the name is Brian. I say, do you want me to punch the hole at the B end or the N end of the card, depending on where their name is. And so they get the choice. So again, when it comes out later on, the hole is where they chose it to be. And then we tied a ribbon in and... Okay, so at first, the ribbon idea came to me when I was thinking about the balloon and how we can change from the spread. So I went out and got a piece of ribbon, and now when you punch a hole in the card and you poke the ribbon through, you're sort of setting up now that you're sort of setting up the balloon idea. Okay, and then obviously when it comes out of the deck later on, it's in the hands and they pull the card out, and it comes out and it looks like a balloon until you let go, and then they've got the lovely souvenir. So that's how we justified the hole with the balloon tying back to how we're going to force them one of 6 colours. It all tied in beautifully. So now that is the trick in its entirety in terms of the process from start to beginning. So it started out as trying to adapt the dark card just to make it different for a project. Ended up with a really cool idea for a thought of colour. Then to justify all of the marks on the front, the back and the hole and the force of the colours all come together to make this beautiful routine, which I'm now going to talk you through. Okay, let's talk about what you get with this set. So first of all, what you need is a regular deck of cards. I'll let you supply your own, so I don't know if you're using blue or red. This only works with bicycle cards, obviously, because finding the coloured cards to match, you know, all those different back designs that people love at the moment isn't really possible. So it's done with bicycle cards, which is what the majority of us use when we're working. So you need a deck of bicycle cards. You also get a hole punch. So this will come in with the set. It's a single hole punch, which you'll need, which fits very cleanly into a pocket. Doesn't take up a lot of space at all, and is perfect for this routine. Also, if you're using something like expansion, it'll come in handy for that as well. You'd also receive one, I don't know what these are called, ream, ball, a load of ribbon. Alright, it's going to be in white because that way it will contrast with every colour that comes out of the deck. This will do you for loads and loads of performances, and very easy to replace when you run out. Just go to any store really, anyone that sells cards or anything else, birthday cards. You can get your ribbon. So you've got your ribbon, you've got your hole punch, you've got a deck of cards. You'll also receive, I've got 2 gimmicks here, but you'll receive, there are 6 colours, you'll receive 5 of each. You'll receive 30 gimmicks ready to perform. Okay, so they're going to be the gimmick card in your choice of either red or blue, depending on what you use. Let me know, and I'll make those up for you. So you get 30 of these. Now the reason I'm supplying these and not just saying get your own stuff, because I was going to say that here's what you need. You need this, you need this, you need this. But to actually get yourself one set of these together, you've got to spend about 60, 70 quid on entire packs of cards to make up the gimmick. So If you want to just get this and be ready to perform, I'm supplying 5 of each colour. Now, obviously, when you're doing this, as I've found, yellow gets chosen more than anything else. It's just one of those things. So your yellow stock will go down quicker than, say, your purple or pink. So you can either get in touch with me and I'll send you out a whole load of yellows to replace the stock, or you can go out yourself and purchase all of the coloured decks that you need. Now, obviously, coloured decks are more expensive than regular decks. The blue or red, whichever one you don't use, will be cheap, but after that they're like 6, 7, 10, quite expensive decks to buy. You can go out and just, if you love the trick, you know you're going to perform all the time, go out and buy these. If not, get in touch with me and I'll just make up another set for you. It won't cost much at all. I'll put all the prices at the end of the video. Let's say you're using blue, just swap out blue and red if you need to. You'll get 5 red, 5 orange, 5 yellow, 5 green, 5 purple and 5 pinks. So 30, up to 30 performances. Now, I've done them in that order because that's how I remember them. Basically the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, purple and then pink at the end, which isn't in the rainbow. But and I always have them in that order in my pocket. So just something to bear in mind. If I'm talking about them always red, orange, yellow, green, purple, pink, is because that's how I've got them in my mind. So that's what you'll receive. You've got 30 gimmicks, your ribbon, your hole punch, and you supply your own deck of cards because you're going to have loads anyway. Yeah, there we go. So we are ready to start the explanation of this routine. Let's talk about the first and most important part of this routine, which is the obtaining which colour they're thinking of. Now, there are 2 ways to do this. One of them is more impressive, obviously, but one of them is also more cost effective. So, and I'm not including in this package, just to keep the price fair and so people can use this, I'm not putting in this price the peak device, because peak devices can be anything up to 70, 100 quid, a lot of money, and you know, there are ways of doing this without, and a lot of people will already own a peak device if they're doing magic. So I'm just going to assume either you own a peak device, you're willing to get a peak device, or you're willing to use the other method which doesn't involve peaking, and I'll go through all of those right now. Okay, let's look at the peak and how you're going to obtain the information of which colour the person is thinking of. Now, there are obviously a million ways to obtain knowledge that somebody's written down. So I'm going to show you the expensive way, the way I like to use, because it's just much cleaner. If you're out working and you're charging money for magic, this will obviously pay for itself in no time. You may well already own these. Okay, so here are the methods that I like to use for peaking, using the peak device and peaking information at work. I try to make it as casual as possible. So there's 2 options. I've got one which is the Infinity Wallet. Now the Infinity Wallet, you'll see, is very natural, just looks like a hip wallet, and that has got the most wonderful peaking. This is available at alakazam.co.uk, but it is about 90, 95 quid. But it does a whole lot of stuff. I mean, it's just, if you're looking to get a wallet, I recommend this one. But this is a great way of peaking that information. So that's one way of doing it. The other way, which is the way I like to use, is the Parapad. It's so good. It's like the best peak device I think I've ever seen. I've got this at propdog.co.uk. They stock them, and it is just so clean and fair. And the moment you have them write this down to the moment that you reveal the colour when you pull down the card, they are so far apart, and there's magic in between that will take their mind off it as well. So we're going to use that method of creating a false memory from when they write it down to when it reveals, so they don't even remember writing it down. It's going to be a lovely moment, and also I'll show you a lovely little subtlety when other people join in watching what you're doing, how you can make them think it's even better than it is. So those are the 2 ways I recommend for peak devices. You can use a centre tear and you know, billet work and that sort of stuff. I don't particularly like that myself. I find it a little bit kind of at work. I don't like to be too much like write it down this little and then take it back and then tear it up and then having a little peek at it. It just is too much when you're surrounded. These are surefire, wonderful methods, but you can use any method you like of peaking. Okay. So I'm not going to include the gimmicks because that'll end up costing another 100 quid, and I don't want that to be part, especially a lot of you will own a peak device anyway. Okay, let's look at the routine. So you either have your peak device and you're going to use it right at the beginning, or the other way, which is quite bold, but I'm quite happy to use it if I've forgotten this, or my pen's run out, or I've got no business cards and I can't do these peak devices. At the beginning, I'll just say, it's your birthday, I want you to imagine you're holding a balloon, and just imagine what colour it is. what colour's in your head? And they say yellow. Okay, imagine you're holding that yellow balloon, keep it in your mind, and then on you go. So you just asked them at the beginning. So it's not so much a thought of colour that changes, it slightly becomes more of a, it's a balloon that they've said, but the card still changes into that colour. So it hasn't quite got the 100% amazing moment of it's never been said until the moment it comes out of the deck. But at the same time, if you say it quite casually at the beginning, you know, and what colour balloon have you got? Oh, it's got red. Okay, imagine holding that for me. And do that now, and then we carry on with the trick. And then again, so much happens at the end. You reiterate. So you're thinking of a balloon, and you're imagining what colour it is. So you sort of the last thing they remember is that they were just a thought of balloon. You know, they never said it. So it's less less impressive, but it does work all the same. If you haven't got a peak device, it's still a great trick because you're still making the card change into the colour of the balloon they're thinking of, even if they told you right at the beginning. So there are two ways of doing it. I prefer the peak device. Obviously, a thought of colour is much stronger, but don't be afraid if you haven't got it to go out and try this trick and just casually say at the beginning of the routine, and then at the end you do the reveal. It will still get really strong reactions, I promise. Okay, let's have a look at the gimmicks you'll receive. So what you have are 30 of these, which will seem like slightly thicker than usual playing cards. Now, what's nice about this is you can do whatever you would normally do with a playing card and it will be fine. It will be absolutely fine. It's not going to come apart. It is glued the entire surface. Now, the card that matches your deck will have the sticky stuff on it, and the card with the different colour will will be fine and clean. Okay. What I recommend you do, because these have been made and then packaged up, is to take each one of them and just separate it and then put it back nice and lined up properly, and it just gives it a chance to the glue to breathe and come back in, so it's not going to stick too hard when you need the separation to happen. All right, you don't need to press it down real hard. Just pop that on, give it a little once over, and they're ready to go. All right, so it's quite a simple thing, but it really is really clean to handle. I've done this where I forgot I had one in the deck and had somebody choose two cards and they've chosen two and they've not noticed that one is thicker than the other, and then it didn't say anything. So these fly by, handle them as if they're a normal card, double lift them, palm them, do whatever you need to do. Yeah, so all this Tenkai stuff, natural palming was fine. It all is fine. I do when I do this routine, I actually do my ambitious card with the double card before I go into the actual Technicolor routine, so they really are certain that the card they've got, they've looked at it for ages and ages, and I do card to wallet with it and everything. So yeah, it's built to just be used like a normal card. Okay, so you've got 30 of these in the pack. Your whole bunch of ribbon. The ribbon will come as these. You need to just cut a piece off, probably about that long. I don't know how long that is, 50 centimeters maybe. Get the length so you're happy with it, but it needs to be that when they're holding it doubled over and it's on the card, that you're happy. Yeah, so doubled over about there, so you probably want about that much. Alright, so for an average man like myself, just past shoulder width. If you're a tank, make it shoulder width. Alright, so that's about as long as you want it. And then just cut those off, loads and loads and loads, and have them ready in your back pocket with your whole bunch. Now these cards will come in packs of 5 of each colour. Now what I recommend you do before you start, go out and do this trick, before you go out and start and doing it, have a look, just take a second. Alright, so this is what I do. I just do it like this. I separate and turn it upside down, obviously because the sticky stuff is here. So I just go out and I get them ready. I go red, orange, yellow, green, purple, pink. I set them out so I can see what they are. You've got to make sure that whatever you're going to write on the back, I write RB Magic, which is what I wrote as my standard, okay? But you can write whatever you want on the back of there. Just be sure what you're writing, where you're writing it, all right? If you want to be extra careful, you'll see that what I've done here is I've put a little dot just there, which shows me the orientation of my writing, okay? So when they're stuck together like this, I know that little mark there will tell me that my orientation is this way around, so I'm going to write on it again. Wherever I wrote on it, my writing will be the same way up. Because obviously there's a hole going through, and people may remember they went through a certain end, not the other. So just to be absolutely 100% sure, I just leave a little mark. Yep, so it's just a little dot in there, which shows me the orientation of whatever I've written. So when you're setting them up to go out, just make sure you do that little check before you go. You've got one of each colour. red, orange, yellow. I've got to make the others up, but red, orange, yellow, green, purple, pink, and your orientation dot again, very slight, but you can just see it there, is matching up to the orientation of your writing. Stick them all back on and then have them in the right order. So I have red on top, orange underneath, yellow underneath in my left pocket, and then green, purple, pink. So you don't need to do any counting when you do this. You either go in for the top card, the bottom card, or the middle card. It's nice and easy. There's no 1, 2, 3, 4. You haven't got to do any counting. You know where they are. Left pocket, right pocket. Left pocket is red, orange, yellow. Right pocket is green, purple, pink. Now bear in mind, you've got all the time in the world to take this out and put it in the deck. There's no heat on the move, but it'd be nice not to have to fumble around and have to do a count and everything else. So that's why there's 6, and that's why they go into 2 pockets rather than 1. Okay, so on with the routine. You should now be set up with several lengths of ribbon in your back pocket or wherever you're going to put the ribbon, your hole punch in a handy position, and your gimmick cards, red, orange, yellow in your left pocket, green, purple, pink in your right pocket. Now you're ready to go. You start the routine. You can. I wouldn't start open with this. I do some magic, sort of as you're working. You're sort of displaying that the cards are all normal without saying it. You're doing plenty of tricks. You've done 1 or 2 things. Maybe an ambitious card, maybe a 6-card selection. Whichever trick you want to do, they take cards out and they choose and everything else. You're going to go into Technicolor with a casual question. If it is somebody's birthday, obviously pick on the birthday person for this one. Say we're going to make you a birthday card, all right? And it's just part of the routine. It's part of what you're saying. So we'll make you a birthday card. Before we do that, and I'll get my power pad out, or you can just ask them. But let's go with the idea that we're using a peak device. I just want you to imagine you're holding a balloon, just a birthday balloon. Be any age you like, as long as you've got that balloon in your mind. I want you to imagine what colour that balloon is. And then I just want you to write it down in here so you don't forget, blah, blah, blah. They jot it down, I see it. Let's say, because I've only got 2 of these made up at the moment, they go with orange, all right? So write it down, they write orange, they take it off, fold it up, don't show anyone, put it in their pocket, all that stuff. Take it back, get my peak. So before the trick's even begun, you've done the peak moment and you've used the idea of holding a balloon, which is a really nice idea for them to keep in their mind as well. Just imagine you're holding a balloon. The colours in their pocket, but you keep reiterating. So you've got a thought of colour, you've got that in your mind, keep that for me. For now, let's make you a birthday card. Now, while you've done your peak, you can say something like, have another look just to make sure you know what that is, or you can confide in one person, or whatever it is, and you've got to just go into your pocket and bring out whichever card it is, okay? So let's say it's orange, I go into my left pocket, I know it's red, orange, yellow, so I grab the middle card, I bring it out, I pop it on the deck. Now, you can do 2 things at this point, before you start, sorry. You can look at which 6 cards you have as your gimmicks and take those out of the deck immediately, and just take them out and work with 46 cards. Or, as I like to do, I just look at which one comes out and I go through and I just take the 2 of spades out. I literally just take it out, put it in my pocket. Don't even say a word, just pop it in your pocket. It seems all mysterious for later on. And you can do, if anyone asks, you can always just say name a card and then palm that card in your pocket and take it out, and it can be another trick. But I just take it out and put it in my pocket and I don't explain why. But magicians, we do stuff like that. It's mysterious, right? So pop that in my pocket. Leaves you with only 1, 2. There's a horrible moment where this shows up twice or something. It just ruins the whole thing. So make sure you get rid of the other 2, or the other whatever it is that is your Technicolor card. Okay, so now you've done your peak, you've got the information, you've got the correct colour card out of the deck, and you're ready to go into Technicolor. Seems like a big setup. It takes like 20 seconds for you to do that, come in, boom. Now, we're going to go into a Carl Andrews trick called Hula Fusion. I can't even say it, but Hula Fusion. Alright, so you're going to force this top card on the spectator. I'll show you a couple of ways of doing that now. I like to use a dribble force, so I just get them to say stop, stop. Now you'd think with the thick card you'd be able to just to riffle to it, but actually it's so nice the way they're just glued together. I can't actually always stop on the right card, so I just put it on top, I cut it into the middle, hold a break, and then use a dribble force to have them choose a card. Alright, you can do that as a riffle force, exactly the same, so it goes in the middle. Alright, so you've got your break above their Technicolor card. You can say stop, say stop, they stop there, and you pick up at the break at the back. Alright, so although wherever they stop, it doesn't matter, you just come over, get this break at the back with your thumb, push that forward and tilt up at the back, and then you'll be at that Technicolor card. So there's two ways of doing it. Alright, so now you've done the force, let's just say they say stop. Stop, lovely, they take it out. We say this will be your birthday card. Now be really free with the card, don't pick it up and kind of act like a double. Just be like, this is your card, I need you to sign it. Now what I do is I put this on a surface, or I get someone to hold their hand out, and I just say write your name on it, because I don't want them to hold it if I can help it. It just feels like a really thick stock card, but you just never know in people's hands, so it's nice just to put it on the table, give them the pen, and they write their name on the front. Let's say it's somebody called Katie. Usual stuff, they're used to seeing this if they've seen any magician ever, right? Now, whilst they are signing this, what you'll say is you're going to get half the deck each. So you pick up half the cards here and you pop these down. Now as you do this, your right, or whichever hand is holding the cards, probably best in this one, is going to come down to your side. I'll do it on my side here, but do it on your hip, and you're going to just push the top card over and turn it over against your body. Alright? So just push it out, turn it over. So it happens like this. So yeah, if I give you half the cards, alright, and you just get this turned over. So as they're signing, you do it as they're signing, you got all the misdirection in the world. You pick up their card, you say, okay, Katie, lovely job. Now you're going to put that on and keep the break above the card that you turned over, okay? So obviously you're going to wrist kill when you come back up so you can't see it. And then you'll put this on here, turn over everything, and you're ready with a double. Now you get them to cut the deck here. You say cut about half the cards. You take their Technicolor card, and what's nice here is you can really reiterate how one cardishness it has. It's a real word. You can sort of show how much is one card without saying it, just by, we'll pop yours in there. Now whenever you put this in for this move, right, I always put it in at a funny angle. Alright, so you'll be at this point, so you've they've chosen a card, you've given them half the deck. As they are signing the card, you put half the cards down, you come down, you reverse. Again, do it down here, I'm just showing you here because the table's in the way. Come back up, add that to the card, undo your wrist kill to show, turn, they cut half the deck, and you put it on. I put it on at a funny angle. I always leave a little bit sticky. I don't put it on flush, I put it on at a funny angle like this. And then when these go back on top, I say, and don't let me see which one it is, make those neat. And all that is, it just sort of in their head makes them feel like they've seen the card until the last minute when it's going in. And I say, hold on to those so I can't cheat. So you're making it really fair when in fact you've been very unfair, but it's just at an angle. So when they go back on, you say, I can still see the edge of that, so just make sure I can't see it. Square everything up and hold those in your hand. And they'll hold those in their hand. So they think they're holding their card in amongst these, when in fact it's up here, right? So now you're going to just cut the cards, you're going to do another force, you're going to force the position. So you've got a break above their card, you get them to say stop, stop. Now you're going to do a double on this one. So what I tend to do, it's quite hard to do a double with a thumb count on these because you've got a double card and then a single, it does. So I just spread across and come back. Yeah, I'll just come out this way. It's just much easier to see two cards than it is. You don't want to start doing a thumb count and then separate the cards and this happen. Yeah, you don't want that to be the case. So rather than doing a thumb count, I just go across and back. So I say the card I'm going to use is the 9 of spades. So you're doing a double with the indifferent card and the Technicolor card. You turn it back over, you say I'll sign the back, we'll make this your birthday card. So on the back, now what I'm looking for, I just realised, is I'm looking for this little mark. Alright? I just realised I've marked both sides for some unknown reason, so that's why I just had to check. But I'm looking for my mark. I can see it's up there. As I turn the card round towards me, and I'll write on there, in this case, RB Magic, but what I'd normally write, obviously, is congratulations or happy birthday. So I've just got I'll be magic on the back. They think it's the indifferent card. You pop this back on top and you cut the card. So you say, now my card is here, your card is here. If we put the two piles together, watch how the printing press works. First of all, the two halves of your birthday card will find each other. So you go through, you find your card that you've written on. Yeah, so it will show up there. I'll be magic, or wherever you've written congratulations. You take this card and the card underneath, you push them out, and you put the rest aside. Then you're going to do the Monty move. Alright, now the Monty move is your thumb will push the top card over as you turn your hand. Okay, so it looks like this. You say, my card went through the others and found yours. Alright, so my card went through the others and found yours. So it looks like this is the 9. You show it here, you come back. When you do it, alright, so you're showing this card. My card went through all the others and found yours. So you use this card to tap face down. My card went through all the others and found yours. Ta-da! And they go, wow, that's awesome. And you say, I want to do me a favour, just check the ink is dry on there. So they run their finger across it. And you do the Monty move in reverse. It just goes back on top like this. As you turn, you're going to just slide those sideways like this. Alright? So you say, check the ink on there, and also check the ink on the back of my 9, and they check the ink. Now we're going to do now, because obviously it's on the same card, you're going to bring them together to your fingertips, and as you come up, you're going to switch cards. Okay? You can do a scoop move that Lee Smith used, which is wonderful, where you can actually scoop it off. But I like just to come in and then move my thumb and say my signature actually jumps off my card, landing on the back of yours. So now her card should say something like Katie, happy birthday. So you've justified writing on the back of the card in that you're making a birthday card for the birthday girl. So now you've had this lovely piece of magic to get you in this position where you've got the signature on the back, or happy birthday, or congratulations, or even if you know the name of the person before you start the show, you can write their name on there and then say to them, oh, well, what's your name again? How do you spell it? Or whatever it is. So it looks like you don't know what you're writing before you write it, but you've actually got it pre-written on the other card. Whatever you write here, just make sure it's exactly the same as what you pre-wrote on the other one. A really nice pro tip is to actually spell their name wrong. So when you're writing on this one at the beginning, write happy birthday, spell the name wrong, cross it out, and then spell it correctly. And then when you come to asking them, you write happy birthday and say, and you write their name, and he goes, how do you spell it? And they say no, and you go, how do you spell it? And you cross it out and do it again. Makes it really convincing when it's on the back of the coloured card. Yeah, making a mistake is a great way to convince people that you've only written it once. And that's obviously, you need to know the person you're working for, whose birthday it is, and how to spell their name. Spell it wrong, they'll correct you, put a line through it, and then write the name correctly underneath. And then you get this really nice moment when it changes, you still see the incorrect spelling. So that's a really nice touch, and that's what I try and do. It's a little tip I wasn't going to give out, but actually I'll give away all of it. Yeah. Really nice thing to do. Misspell their name, happy birthday, misspell, write, cross it out, and then write next to it. Okay, so now you're in this position where you've got the card, birthday card all done, and they think that's the end of the trick. And you say, actually, no, let's see if we can take this any further. I'll try and make this a bit more of a birthday souvenir. I'm going to punch a hole in the card. Do you want to punch it at the K end or the E end? Doesn't matter what they choose, it just means they'll remember afterwards. And you put the hole punch all the way in and right down the middle. Now, it doesn't matter where you punch this, because obviously the card underneath is exactly the same, so it will... you actually punch in the orange card. So it doesn't matter where you punch it, you don't need to be exact. Just punch it, and then when you punch it as well, you've got to go through two cards. So hit it really hard, and rather than getting caught on the one and then having to punch really over, you punch really hard in one go. It gets caught on a little bit, which is great, because as you wiggle it off, it really gives the impression of one card. Okay, so you punched a hole through the card. And you say, what we'll do, and you get the ribbon in your pocket, and we say, we'll make this, and you thread this yourself, right? You thread this part yourself. And this is, again, we're going to create a false memory. It's really, really nice. So you thread the card through, and you say, not much of a balloon, is it? Now, what they're going to have at this point when you do this and you show it's not much of a balloon is they'll get the idea of the balloon back in their mind, but they'll see that A, it's deflated and not very good, and B, it's blue. But they'll see the name on the front, they'll see the writing on the back, and they'll get the image of a blue card on a ribbon. Really important, this part, right? So you do it first and say, not much of a balloon, is it? I bet the one you're holding is much nicer. Yeah, so, but it gives them that image in their mind of a ribbon threaded blue card with their name on it. Really, really strong image to remember. So you take it off and you say, you give the ribbon to them and you say, look, we're going to use your imagination for this part. And casually, just as you're saying we use imagination, you're going to just shuffle the cards. Now, you put their card on top, just as you're talking, you're going to cut, don't cut half, you're going to cut like a quarter of the deck. Okay, you're going to cut about a quarter. The reason you're going to do this is that when you cut half now to do a shuffle, it puts their card bang down the middle of one of the packets. Okay, so what that means is you don't need to go to faro perfectly for this, by the way. You just need to butt the ends up against each other and push. Now you'll feel when you've got in between the card, you just get that slight extra edge. You can feel it going over the glue and everything else. Okay, so what you can do is you can spread through like this. Yeah, you can say, look, I want you to imagine that this is a whole bunch of balloons, and all I'm doing here is I'm just double checking that my my shuffle has split that card. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, is just getting a sight of the orange just to make sure. Okay, because sometimes it misses and you've got to do 2 shuffles, but the more you practice, the more you'll get it down in 1 shuffle. But you just run through and say, we're going to imagine these are a bunch of balloons, and I've just got that orange now. I can see that quite clearly. You haven't got to look because it's such a different colour. You see it, you come in face up, and you say, what was your card again? And then you go through, and it'll be the 2 of spades, have their name on it. You push it forward like this, so it's out jogged in the deck. And you say, I want you to thread the ribbon through, so there's no funny business going on. And as you're doing it, I want you to imagine that you're actually tying this ribbon to the balloon that's in your mind. Okay, so they do this, and they hold on to the ribbon. So just imagine for a second, they square it up and the ribbon goes inside. You turn round so the backs are facing the spectator, and they hold onto the ribbon like this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put a bit of pressure with your finger on the back, because what you don't want them to do is to hold it and it start to pull that card out. So keep the deck nice and beveled. And you say, by any chance, it wasn't a blue balloon, was it? And you do this, like as if it's... you know, and they will say no, and you go, would have been cool. Yeah, that old line of would have been lucky, would have been amazing. Alright, so you do this, you say, but here's a nice balloon, but what colour was your balloon? And they say orange, or whatever colour it is, and you say, okay, I want you to really imagine that you're holding an orange balloon, just as you've been doing the whole time. And then you slowly pull up with the deck. Now they've got tension here, you slowly pull up with the deck, and what will happen is, look, one card will come out, and it is orange, and it's got what they can see when it first comes out. Let me show you this up close. They can see what you've written on the back. Now bear in mind, if you've done it properly, this was just a prototype, if you've done it properly you'll have their name spelt wrong with the crossing out and the hole punch and everything else. And now what I do is I just do this with my hand as they're holding the bottom. I say, was your balloon something like this? What colour was your balloon in your mind? And they say orange. For the best effect, you get them to say the colour just before it comes out. So you say, what colour balloon were you holding? They say orange, and as you do it, you start to pull upwards. And as I pull upwards, I'm going to just move my hand ever so slightly, side to side, so it looks like an orange balloon. Really, really cool, right? And you say, is this what your balloon looked like? And they go, yeah. Now just imagine your balloon popping, and as they do, it falls out like a burst balloon, and they can now have on the ribbon their signed card, which is turned into the colour, which has got all the stuff that happened in the last trick. It's got the hole punched in exactly the same end they wanted it punched in, and they've got this lovely souvenir, which they can take away with them. Now what's nice, obviously, is that the sticky card that was on the back of this will now be stuck to the back of another card. So there won't be a sticky card in there. The only thing you'll have on the back of one of the cards, there'll be clean-up you've got to do. So on the back of one of the cards, obviously, we'll have whatever you wrote on the blue card. Now, I wouldn't follow this trick with anything. I like to finish with this trick, and then as I'm going to the next table, I just need to get this one out. I just peel it off and literally throw this away because it's already got a hole punched in it, so it's no use to anyone now. So you take it and you throw it away, or put it in the pocket that's got all your ripped up cards, whatever it is, and then your deck is fresh to go. If you're going to do this table to table, obviously you need to go back and replace whichever colour they said. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this table to table. I'd like to do this for the birthday girl or the birthday boy or whoever it is. You make sure that they know that it's a special trick for them. You can then personalise the back of the card. Now, the only problem with this, obviously, is that you will use up 6 cards because if you write their name on it, you're going to use up a lot of your gimmicks. So if you're going to go out and buy all of these yourself and have like loads and loads of performances, then I recommend putting the name on and crossing it out and making it really personal. If it's a wedding or something really, a big event where you're getting paid for, then it will sort of pay for itself. If you're just going table to table and want to do it a lot, then you do something like just put the RB magic on something generic, or congratulations, or whatever it is, happy birthday, something you're going to have on every time you do it, because that way obviously you can then just replace the one colour back in your pocket and you're ready to do the trick again. So there it is. That is Technicolor. It's a wonderful, wonderful routine, a lovely, lovely moment when you take the card out, and it's got some really strong magic in the middle. I really, really love this trick, and I hope you guys do too. I will be available to answer any questions you have about this. Maybe you want to go through some handling or the forcing and all that sort of stuff. I will be available to anyone who's bought this to FaceTime, Skype. I'll do a Instagram live where you can join me on the screen. There are loads of ways that we can get in contact and actually talk through this. So there will be a lot of after support for this trick. But you will get 30 performances, and if you don't want to replace the thing, you want to go table to table, you can go up to say they chose orange. You can go, I want you to imagine you're holding the balloon, say it's orange. Oh, yeah, make it whatever colour you like, and kind of talk them out of it. But it's easy just to go get another one. But like I say, I wouldn't do this every table, just because you'll run out of gimmicks really quickly. Make it a special moment, I think, once or twice a night, and also make sure that there's somebody filming you or taking pictures as they're putting this out, because the faces will be like the pop-up card. They'll get all the reactions as it's coming out, and nobody would have done anything like this. You won't see that picture anywhere else of the spectator pulling a ribbon card, different colour coming out of the deck, and all the faces going. Alright, so use that moment wisely and make sure you get it on camera. It's really, really cool. Enjoy it. I know I have been, and it's incredible. Enjoy, and thanks for purchasing. Right guys, I'm going to go through some of the handlings on the effect, as obviously earlier on I kind of went through it quite quickly. We'll do a very in-depth handling tutorial. So let's say we're going to go with the forces first with the King of Diamonds. So the forces that I use will be either the classic force, the dribble force, or the riffle force, and those are the ones I recommend. They just work best. They're the most reliable and aren't so kind of hoping that people don't notice what you've done kind of thing. Alright, so let's start with the classic force. So we've got the card on top, the Technicolor card. You've just taken it out of your pocket depending on what colour they said. Okay, so let's say we stick with orange. If we've had orange the whole time, I've gone into the middle of the 3, put it on top. Now I'm going to slip that card. You can either cut the deck or slip the card into the middle. All right. Let's say we slip it into the middle. So I tend to just do this. All right. I'm going to slip that card down, keep a break, and come back in. Now, if you're doing a classic force, again, it's the last one I recommend out of 3, only because they have to grab the card, and although the card is really well hidden as a double card, the less they touch it for me, the better. So I just say stop, and it's just a timing thing. So you've got to break over the card with your little finger. So as you slip it into the middle, slip it down, hold the break. Now you're going to transfer this to the offhand and hold the brake on your thumb. Now people often say to me, I can't control this dribble when I've got a brake. All you need to do is forget about the cards above. Forget about these entirely, they will just stay where they are. Put the pressure down as if you're just holding this small packet and just dribble as if this small packet is there. Forget these exist and you'll work on the timing. If you say to somebody, say stop, stop. They tend to say stop on 3. It's got a 2 beat 4, so 1, 2, stop. Alright, so just that's the rough timing. So say stop. That's all it is. Just work on that. And done in an offhand manner, I'll just say stop. Stop, lovely. Yeah, and you'll get it every time. If they say stop a bit early, stop. You can just kind of, it almost looks like a reaction time from you hearing them say stop to when you stop. Say stop, stop. Alright, and don't say, this is your card, take this card. You just dump this out. Alright? And say, this will be yours. And then you turn it over. Now, the fact that you know what it is takes away the fact that, well, it doesn't. If it doesn't matter that he knows what it is, then they sort of stop being suspicious. When they've got to take a card and hide it, and you apparently don't know what it is, that's when they like want to make it as fair as possible. If you say, look, take a card out, doesn't matter that I see what it is, just help yourself to one, and take away the importance of the card, then people tend to just say stop a lot easier. So just you say to them, I just want you to say stop, and if you like, but it doesn't matter that I see the card, that's irrelevant. Just say stop, stop, lovely. It'll be the King of Diamonds in this case. It's not about me finding it, we're going to do some stuff with it. In fact, we're going to make it into your birthday card. Yeah, and so you're off. That's the dribble force. Yeah, that's a dribble force. Okay, so again, slip it in the middle, transfer the brake to your thumb, ignore the top packet, just dribble the bottom cards. Try and do it head on, obviously, so you don't show that brake. So stop, stop. And then don't even give them the option, just be like, there's yours. We're going to use this card. Doesn't matter that I see what it is. And you're off. Alright? Now, for the slightly a bit more safety, you can do the riffle, which is again, slip it into the middle, hold a brake. This time, you're going to riffle down whilst holding the brake. Now, the key to this, a lot of people struggle with this because the cards go everywhere, is the base of your thumb. Okay, that's where the control is going to come in so that this doesn't go flying whilst you're holding this brake. So make sure the pad of your thumb goes in and almost over the bottom here. So you're holding the bottom end together, which will allow your finger to go underneath and your thumb to riffle down quite freely. Alright? If you try and do it like this, and then the cards are above your thumb here, what will happen is you lose all the control. Right, let's get this to the light. Yeah, so you don't want the cards to be higher than the base of your thumb here because it will just start to do that. It looks horrible. Reach right around, get your hand over there, and then once your thumb is above this, you'll have all the control in the world. So again, you say stop. Wherever they stop, you just bring your offhand over. Now your thumb will naturally land on this brake as you bring it over. So put your thumb on that brake, the four fingers just push down on that and you lift off of the brake at the back. So it looks like this. So stop here, say stop, fine. But again, in an offhand manner, just say stop, we're going to get a card, doesn't matter, I know what it is, yeah, and then you put it out. I might pick that up by accident. Say stop, yeah, fine, chuck it in. That'll be your card. Alright? You can, if you want, really go for it and just be like, we'll take one out of random, you know. Let's just, whatever, let's just use this. This will be your card. It doesn't matter, you know, because at the moment you're not trying to find it, you're not trying to hide it. You're just getting a random card, so you don't even need to get them to choose it, really. If you're saying, I'm going to make you a birthday card, let's just use a king. Doesn't matter. You know, do you see what I mean? You're not doing a find a card trick, so therefore, why would it matter which card you chose if you know what it is? It disarms them. So stop. Lovely. Dribble force works on the table as well. So just play with these ideas, yeah? Just use the timing and the technique. That's the safest one because you can pretty much stop anywhere. and pick up at the break. That one's a bit more risky but cleaner once you get the timing. And classic force, I would probably go with, either they touch the card, don't take it out. That one, are you sure? Okay, we use that. Oh, wrong card. You get the idea, right? A classic force, kind of a classic force myself. Yeah, so you get them just to touch it with their finger and then take it out. But I like this makes more sense to not have them touch the card. Alright? So those are the different forces that are used, and I hope you take a time just to get them down, because obviously they'll benefit you in a lot of other tricks if you've not used them already. If you have a force you use already, make sure it fits the trick in that they don't have to hold onto the card too much. You can just get a position and drop the card on the table or into someone's outstretched hand. Alright? Also, let's look at the Carl Andrews Human Fusion handling. So with this, you're gonna, once you've forced out the king, it will be signed by them. On the table is always nicer because the thickness doesn't make any difference. So let's say it's signed by a Logan. Now, as they are signing this, you're going to cut half the deck on the table. As you pop this down, this hand is going to casually go to your side. You're going to push that card out and turn it over on your body. Alright, so like this. Push and turn. Bringing your hand back, wrist killed. But the actual timing of it, I don't want to stand up, it ends up being a cock shot. I hate those. Hello, Sir Blue.